Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, and perhaps even good evening. Thank you so much for dropping by and joining me for another super exciting episode of the 3D Shenanigans. Mr. Brian is here. He's joined the Unreal Engine fan club. So well done, Brian. Congrats and applause. Very cool. Miss Nancy is here. How's it going? There's also the Sebastian, who's the only one special in the room today, which is great. Good to see you. CASG, how you doing, buddy? Cinema 4D, my goodness, that does sound advanced indeed. I believe Miss Julia is also here, and there's other people watching. Thank you so much for dropping by. It's wonderful to see you all. I'm going to go and do a little bit of a display tweak here just before we get going. Not about extend. I'm going to disconnect. Yes. Yes. Keep changes. I love it. Disconnecting my second monitor, so I have everything on my single monitor now, and we'll see how we get on with that little sheep animation that we started. Also, I thought I'm going to go and do a little bit of different music today, the Retro Wave Essentials. If it sucks, we'll switch it off, but I thought we'll try this out. Okay, this sounds interesting. Do I use Windows Ink? I don't know. Do I? I don't think so. I don't think I do. If I do, I do apologize, I think. I don't know. I really don't know what Windows Ink is. I think there was something I had to disable, and that had something to do with Windows Ink, perhaps, if I remember it correctly. But I can't tell you. Mr. Chris is here. How's it going? The shepherd has arrived. Good to see you. How did your YouTube test go earlier? Chris is thinking of switching from Twitch to Kick and YouTube to streaming because there's controversies on the Twitch front. So he's thinking of doing that. And for that, of course, we need to do a lot of testing. So we'll see if, you know, what happens and how did that go. Let me know if the music is too loud, too annoying, if it's not on brand, and we'll go and swap it out. I think this is fairly quiet, but it could also be fairly annoying. So I don't really know yet. It's like the pen for the starters. I don't think I use that. I think I switched it over to WinTab again, so that it works with my 57-year-old drawing tablet. That's what it feels like. I think it's about 12 years old. My Wacom Intuos 4. I have a wireless version and a wired version. Did I press launch? I can't quite remember. Are we launching? It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm being too impatient. Hey, I've learned a lot of good new things about Unreal Engine animations. One was yesterday just out of total fluke, like where we put the animation asset on the actual level sequencer in the timeline. But after the stream, I've learned something else that I thought, man, had I known going into this project, that would have been so cool. It could have meant avoiding the round trip into Blender, and that is how to blend animations on the timeline together. I didn't know that existed, or I mean, I had a hunch it would be somewhere, but it's much easier than I thought. So I'm going to go and show you how that works. Surprisingly smooth. That's good. That's good. As long as you pick the correct latency, Chris, everything's okay. There's like normal, low latency, and extremely low latency, or something like that. And normal is like 7-hour delay, and very short means it's still like 30 seconds. And then there's ultra low, and that's what we have here and also on Twitch. Yeah, I think the other version, like the normal one, is like 30-40 seconds. It's crazy. Wacom Create. Yeah, I've never tried mine on Android devices. So here's this thing I've tried, and this is just a test sheep here. So the sequencer here is just for him, and I've got on the bottom here, I put regular animations onto the timeline like we did yesterday, and when there's a gap, you can go and literally just push them together, and where you push them on top of each other, Unreal Engine puts a transition in, which is very cool. So now he goes and he eats, and then if I go here, he goes and transitions into this idle animation. So if I go and play this, he just goes and does this, and it all happens inside Unreal Engine, which is very cool. He does blink. It looks like he blinks. So this is how that works. This is one animation, and if I do nothing, so this is one FBX, this is the other FBX, then there would be like a gap here in between, and then he goes and does this. But if I go and left click and drag these things literally on top of one another, then this part here, that's that transition that I needed that round trip into Blender for. So I can do that directly inside Unreal Engine. This is very cool. And this also works with another asset. So these things, they're literally just animation assets. So I can go and park my playhead, and then I go to animation, and then I can go and pick any of the FBXs that I want, and then it'll go and drop that on here. That's how that works. And then I can go and, so if there's a gap, then I just go drag those on top of one another, and then that does this. Ta-da! But sometimes this isn't all that optimal. If you had like so many small animations and I need like 1,000 frames worth of him alternating between eating and looking out into the distance type thing, then I can use what's known as an animation, not a montage, the other thing. There's an animation composite. There we go, that's it. An animation composite is something that is an object that stitches several other animations together. So they don't blend, they can't blend. It's literally just a compilation of play one after the other. I haven't worked out how to chop them up. If I needed to shorten one, that doesn't seem to work, or I don't know how. But I can take this with its, you know, bits and pieces in between there, and then add that also onto the sequencer track. So instead of an animation, I can go and add here that animation composite, which was this one here. And so this is not an FBX, this is the thing that I've made, and that also blends with itself and with other FBXs. So that could be cool. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and use that on our new little, you know, super amazing super sheep actor there, and I might even animate him on a separate timeline that I'll then cue from my main level sequence. That's the plan. That is the plan. Control drag. Let's try that out, shall we? Let's try that out. Let me go back into this. Let me try. So eating is good, but maybe idle maybe is kind of too long. Oh, that's eat to idle, and that's just idle here. If I wanted to make that control drag, no, control alt drag, there's end time here. So I suppose I could adjust that and then say, just make it 2 seconds. Yes, that's how that works. You just type in the number. Also loop count, so you can say, well, I want this to happen 5 times. Ah, look at that, CASG, you're the man. It wasn't control, but hey, it was close. This is good, this is good. Ah, excellent. That is very cool. So let me show you what we have by loading in that main sequencer. Was it this one here? I think so, JCam. That's the one. Is it? Yes, there we go. So this is our animation so far. We've got one sheep running across. We've got him looking around. So this is all exciting. There we go. G. I said G. There we go. And there's a few sheep here. So this guy, this is the actor we were preparing yesterday. He's kind of looking over the ocean for the first, I don't know, like 800 frames or so. And then when we come to about here, he's supposed to turn around and walk all the way behind the lighthouse. This guy's the test sheep, so we, ignore him. We might, there we go. He starts walking already. He's supposed to turn around and then go and make his way here. And that was something that just didn't work out yesterday. So let's try that again today with this new technique I've just found in Unreal Engine. We'll see what happens. And these guys here, they don't move yet, so we're going to go and have to add movement to them as well. I'm still not sure if that area is too dark, so I'm going to make that a little bit lighter. He's walking up the path. That's nice. And then this guy here, he's supposed to be eating already. He doesn't do that either. Oh, is he? No, he's eating. That's cool. He's eating. So he should go and run away. He gets kind of spooked out. There we go. He jumps and then he kind of runs away. And yeah. That is that. You at this point should look up, perhaps. That's the idea. That's the animation. That's the animation. The Church of the WP Guru. That's it. Yes. Welcome to my little island, indeed. So I'll go and start, of course, with the more difficult bits, because that's just how we roll here. There's this guy. This was my test sheep, and we'll maybe ignore him for now. We can always move him around. So this guy here is who we'll just have to work out the timing and then animate properly with probably with his own animation track. So let's just get the timing right here. From frame 0 to frame, was it 900? 900, yes. So from frame 0 to 900, he doesn't do anything. He just goes and, you know, sits there and alternates between eating and looking out into the ocean. So that's what we're going to make an animation composite for. And then he's just going to go and walk until, I think, frame somewhere here. Was it? Yeah, there we go. Frame 1400. He's going to go and start just eating and looking again. That's the plan. So I'm going to make this long, like 2 animation composites for that. Or maybe 3. I'll see. That's the timing. Let's go do that. Let's go do that. So first, I'll make that here in animatics. I might do a new folder and call it animation comps. And let's go into animation and say animation composite with the sheep skeleton. And we'll say AC looking over ocean. That's the first one. Let's do that. That's him. Hello, how you doing? So he's going to alternate between eating, eat, and I think I drag that onto here. Yes, there we go. He eats. That's nice. With this animation, maybe we'll go and add. I have another one that's eat to idle. Eat to idle, so I can put that there as the transition. Now he goes from eating to idling, and I can probably just leave that there and just go put the eating animation back here like that, and then just keep going until we reach frame 800. So eat, then we have eat to idle. Perfect. Can I go and copy that? No, of course not. That wouldn't be right. So just go drag these in several times. And really nothing happens. He just goes and oh no, hang on. Oh, now we need to play idle here, don't we? Haha, totally forgot about that. This needs to be idle. And idle 2 probably. Do you not want to go here now? Is that not what we do here? Idle, perfect. And this idle is too long, so I'm going to go and make that, like we said, maybe just 3 seconds. I hope. And then we need to go idle to eat again. This is actually easier in Blender to do, I think. Oh, really? How exciting, Nancy! That sounds interesting. Yeah, Huion and is that the X tablet thing? Is that what they are? The Huion. There's the X tablet. They are really cheap now, and they all do pretty much the same as what the Wacom does. I'm just wondering, is there another easier way to do this? I think that might be if I just go and do this with a level sequence, a second one. Let me try that. Let me try that with a level sequence, just because, you know, I can't get enough of experimenting here. And this is going to just be eat idle. And with that, I think, can we just go and add? Oh, we need to have, no, that doesn't work. No, forget about that. I don't think that's going to work. Nope, forget that. Forget that. Let me just go puzzle my way over here with this guy, and then we'll see if that's any more helpful. So eat to idle, and then we go with idle. But not like that, because that's terrible. Idle, come on, idle. On composite track. Doesn't want to go there, does it? There, now it goes. So that needs to be followed by idle to eat. And then we go back to eat. That works, right? Yes, yes, yes. And we're halfway there already. So idle, that's eat. Then we're gonna need to go eat to idle. Then we go idle 1 again. Then we need to go idle to eat. And that's then eat, and then we go eat to idle. Eat to idle, and we go back to idle, idle 1. And that is basically our 900 plus frame animation. So I can use this as my first segment for him. Okay, good. That's number 1. Looking over ocean. I'm gonna make another one, and I'll say animation composite sheep skeleton, and this is AC walk to sign. See if I can vary his running speed there as well. So last time I think I used running, but made that a bit faster, slower. I've already got one here from Blender from yesterday, the 1000 animation sequence here, in which he goes and does this. Is that good? No, that's run, isn't it? That's not what I meant actually. Mine was walk. Sheep walks to house. No, that's not the one either. Maybe it's just the regular walk one. There. So from 900 to 1400, that's around about 500 frames. Hey Meg, how's it going? How you doing? Good to see you. Play rate, there we go. I can vary that. So I need about 500 frames of that. So if I play that 10 times, I get about 300. And I can make him, I can maybe make him walk a bit faster during that time. Or maybe even, you know, like that, just make him just strut a bit faster here for the first kind of 200 frames. And then I'll go and use walking again. And then that should transition nicely. And then he goes a bit slower from here. From there, perfect. Okay. And this is now going to be looped, let's say, I don't know, 8 times. Let's make it 10 times. So that gives me over 500 frames. So that means now I can go and make this composite transition into standing there and just, you know, eating and idling around like the first one that I did. I think that might be the plan. It sounds like that should be doable. We'll see if it works. I'm going to put the sheep sequence into here. So this is going to be another level sequence, and it's going to be ocean grazer sheep. That's him. And I think, Meg, I was thinking of you the other day. I've watched your video again in regards to blending animations together with Blender, and I've made extensive use of that. And I'm going back into Unreal Engine 5, by the way, because of this asset here. So this is something I've picked up from the Humble Bundle. For 25 bucks, you get like 10 sets or so. And this ocean shader looks extremely nice here in Unreal Engine 4, but it doesn't work in 5. So I just thought, hey, I'll go back and do this animation in 4. Why not, indeed? And the video really helped. I'm really glad you made that, because I had forgotten how to do it, and I've found a similar way to do this directly in Unreal Engine now. It can do, you know, some things that we don't need to do in Blender anymore, but still the Blender way is pretty much a foolproof way. So, you know, it's, yes, absolutely. It's always nice when people make videos like that. It's really nice. So this guy, I think I might just go and remove him. Yes, we're gonna get rid of him because he's gonna get his own level sequence, this one. And for that, do I have random sheep? Perfect. So I'm gonna get a fresh copy of you out here. What happened to the landscape here? Should we be worried? No. Good stuff. Let's not get worried. It's all good. We're okay. Okay, you sit here and you eat grass and you overlook the ocean, just like your predecessor did. You're like the supporting special sheep actor guy. Do we have different skin here? Skin 2, that's the black skin, and then skin 1 is this. That's nice. Recognizable. Oh, does it? Interesting, interesting. Yeah, it's both of these engines, they take up so many resources, and I have to say 4 is butter smooth for me. It's not without faults, but comparing it to 5, you're right. I can see it as well. I get more performance out of 4 than I perhaps get out of 5. It's an interesting observation, Meg. Let's go and rename him, and we'll call him not random sheep. We're going to call him Ocean Grazer Sheep. Okay, and you we want to track Ocean Grazer Sheep. Yes, woohoo! Okay. I'm feeling confident here. I'm feeling confident this is gonna work. I think in total we need 2,400 frames in our animation. This is going to present another little puzzle, how to cue this level sequence in my master sequence. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So first of all, the animation that we need is AC looking over the ocean. That's his first thing that he's going to do. So that's the composite that we've just made. And at around frame 900, I want this to blend in to this other composite that I've made, which is walk over to the sign. That's it, isn't it? Perfect. Do you know what? This walking over to the sign, no, actually that might work. We're ending with idle here, so that's gonna be enough. So if I go and drag this over, this is this popping thing that we avoided with Blender from here to here. So if we go and just drag that in to here, we create that transition here, and now he just goes and transitions into that directly on the timeline. Is that cool or what? That is just so exciting. That is amazing. So that's that, and then at the end of this, at around frame 1400, I want him to go and stop and start eating again. So I'll go and put that other animation composite. I'm just going to go with the over the ocean again, which starts with eating. So he's just going to go and find his spot around here, and he's going to start eating there again. Well, that's almost. Let's make this a bit shorter, and then we go blend that in. He goes and walks, finds the spot, and starts eating immediately. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. And now I'll go and start animating his actual transforms there. Cool. 5.37 sheep were harmed in the making of this animation. That is so not true. We're still making sure all the sheep having a super happy life. They can look out over the ocean and eat flowers and stuff. Meg, as do many other developers, many people are still sticking with Unreal Engine 4 for that reason. I mean, people have made custom tools over time for that. As far as I'm concerned, 5.2 specifically is very beta still. I'm using 5.1 for production thing, and I'm going to stick with that for as long as I can, because 5.2, that seems to be a little, certain things are broken and it's just not, not so good. Hey, there should be an option to change the keyframe interpolation by default. There we go. We want something that isn't auto. I want it to be linear. So yesterday I had to go and change many of these things over to linear. See if I can go and do this today without having to, do that all the time. So it should now set linear ones by default. Perfect. This is the right spot, right? This is the spot I liked. Yes, almost. I mean, almost. Now thinking perhaps we should have moved him a little bit further over here. Let's do that. Okay, so this is that spot. Then we come to around frame 900, just before he goes and turns around. So from here, that's going to be the same keyframe. And then just when he starts walking, I'm going to go and give him to, whoops, get him to turn around kind of this way. I think that's the direction we're going with. I think so. Does that work? Yeah, it doesn't look elegant. We could maybe start a little bit later with that. Perhaps I should have, maybe I'm going to go and make these, move these over so that that his feet are already moving when he rotates. Because it doesn't really matter when he does, if it's, yeah, there we go, that'll work. I like it. And then, I don't know what this is going to look like in regards to speed. But I want him to go and walk in front of the sign here, maybe. Oh yeah, of course not here, but like more kind of here somewhere. Sorry about that, sheep buddy. And then slightly further down, perhaps, again. So Brian, tell us about your adventures with Unreal Engine. What was it that's not quite working for you? Apart from, everything. Because it is one of those things, it's just... There's a lot of stuff that... It's such an intimidating beast, isn't it? This might be a bit too fast indeed, so... Let's move this slightly further back. I love that space doesn't necessarily go and cue the animation. Sometimes it does. Brian has actually bought the same sheep for iClone, which is great. So the developer makes them available for both platforms. That's nice. I think I can live with that walk speed up to here. Let's see if we can go and move him to about here, where he's going to go and start just, you know, I'll stop walking essentially. And I'm thinking kind of, we were saying kind of over here where the yellow flowers are. This might be a bit too far, but we'll see how we go. I think well done for, you know, for doing it, because it's just such a temperamental thing, this complexity out of this world. But it's also the 3D app that keeps on giving, doesn't it? So at that point you kind of face over here, I guess. Let's see if that works. So disregarding the rotation, just to see if the walk speed works. Oh man. And the height, of course. I think it works for me. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. He can go and stand here and eat grass, because that's the spot that we eat grass at happily. You good height here, or are you a bit too high? I can't tell. Dude. I wish spacebar would just start and stop no matter what you do, but that's not how it works though. When you do things twice and you get a different result, that is a little annoying, yes. The layers, right, yes. That is a bit tricky. It's tricky to comprehend the first time, but it's also it'll also grow on you. When it comes to rendering this little guy out here, we can talk about this a little more. It's good, but it's also super beta still. When are you actually on the ground here? Now? Because the end button doesn't really work. Let's say you're on the ground now. This is your final keyframe here. I might put something like a flower here where he's eating, so he's essentially eating that. I think maybe your rotation isn't quite correct, is it? Yes, that is a good point, Brian. When you do something and you get a different result twice. Can't quite tell if his hind legs are buried in the ground or not. I think they might be. Bloody uneven ground, huh? I think motion path wise, can I actually just grab this keyframe and just move that? I can, can't I? Ha ha ha. That is actually very cool. So if I go and put that, nope, I meant the motion path. Is that not how that works? No, Jay, that is not how that works. Okay, fine, no problem. I'm okay. I'm okay then. Mom is disappointed in the lack of 5 sheep. What a shame. Yes, $5 currently on the Unreal Engine marketplace. It's called Mobile Sheep, and it's really cute. I gotta say, they're just cute sheep. They come with 3 skin colors. let's go correct the rotation. So when he arrives here, I'm thinking he should now go and face it. We're just going to go and make that a little prettier here, the whole path. So he turns and walks. I think I'm okay with that. Aside from the height, I think maybe this is the point where we might have to go and consider making him a little bit higher. Kind of like that. And also, are you looking roughly in the right direction? You might not. Mom is disappointed in the lack of flying sheep. I'm sorry, Brenda. Maybe next time. That's okay, but there's something spurious going on here in the front, isn't there? I'm not sure if this is the right height. Yeah, it's not, is it? Because like, let's say here, that seems to be the highest point. You're gonna be here. It's worth doing this, you know. These sheep, I gotta say, they're the stars of the show. So let's say that's correct, and this in the middle here is not. So, oops. You'd have so much patience as an animator. And then while we're here, I'm thinking, I could just go and move you out a little bit, like here maybe. Because then that path isn't quite so angular. It's more erratic here. And you're not quite walking in a straight line. You're going over here, that's good. And then we'll do the same thing here. So we're going to make this a little wider to the outside here, not a straight line. And you're also hovering in the air a little bit, so let's make sure that doesn't happen, because that looks ridiculous. Then you go forward to kind of here, but more like to the outside here. Facing that way already. How's your height doing, buddy? Okay, we're getting there. Drinks coffee and doesn't care, exactly. Well, maybe there's going to be a whole new video just featuring flying sheep. Have you thought about that? Wanders further over here. It's very cute. Look at his little bottom. It's very good. Then he's going to do a bit of a wide berth around his friend because we don't want to spook anyone. Like here. Yeah, that is flying sheep, you know. Oh yeah, your rotation, is that good here? Should have something from the sheep's perspective, like sheep cam or something. Yes, maybe a little bit much. Or is it? I can't tell. Yeah, I think here maybe you shouldn't be looking that way. Like here, just look over there still, and then we're gradually going to make you look over the other direction. Very cute. Yes, now I'm thinking we can probably interpolate you over here. We want to put another point in the middle, maybe. Like here. Oops. And then you. Let's come out kind of here, I was thinking. Like so. Come on, buddy. We can do this. Damien, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream, my friend. So Meg, are you thinking of picking up those sheep? Are they going to make an appearance in one of your games? That would be cool. Yeah, so you need to turn here. And then here, yeah, you're already eating there. That's perfect. Yeah, this on the last point, I think you're... Whoops. That is the last point, isn't it? Yes, I think... Oh no! Oh, come on! You pressed the wrong key once. Hours of work destroyed. There we go. Yeah, I think it's just turned not quite the right way there. That. That is nice. I think this is here. I don't particularly enjoy this. This turning interpolation, so I'm thinking I might go and preempt that. Yeah, it just takes a little bit too long for him to turn there. That's better. And then he goes and eats. All right. So then in its entirety, because remember, this is only part one of the puzzle. Part two is then how do we cue this from the master sequence? I think that's going to work, but is it? Let's see. Eats, turns around, walks over, and the camera's going to be here, so we're going to see him do that. He gets a bit slower, reaches his destination, eats a flower. The end. Oh, Brian posted a link slightly further up to the Unreal Engine Marketplace. Last time I had a look at them, they were literally only $5. Do I still have them? Mobile Sheep here, there they are. I've also just picked up, there they are, that's them. Yeah, $4.99. I think regular retail price is $9.99. Don't they look cute? That's them. Here's the star of the show here, as featured. Mobile Sheep. Mobile Sheep. Low topology, good textures, and here's all the little animations. There's a demo video in this link as well. Oh, they have cute bunnies today? I'm gonna have a look. game-ready characters. I don't think I've had a look yet. This is the other one I picked up the other day by William Faulker, Easy Fog. That was the best $9 I've spent as well. Very cool. It's animated fog. They're planes, and they apparently work on 4.27. I haven't tried this out, but they're planes with like 10 variations. Comes with a normal map, so it looks like volumetric fog, but it's a fraction of the overhead of volumetric fog, and it's just planes that you place before and after, and it animates as well. So very, very cool. This is what they look like. It's such a simple idea, but really well designed. Yeah, Easy Fog, $8.99. Good thing to add a bit of pizzazz to your scenes. Oh yeah, okay. Owned. I like it. He looks a bit evil, doesn't he? Oh, this is great for some other animations. A little bunny, $4.99. I might pick that up as well. Mobile frog. I mean, who doesn't like a frog? Liquid slug. Yikes. Someone's had fun. The things with teeth, they're not really my cup of tea. Or like, yeah, anything with teeth really. Oh, modular human skeleton. Naked rat. Ooh, green thing with teeth. And blue thing with teeth. I think I'm okay with that, but the rabbit here, that would just be great together with the sheep. They look exactly like the friends of the sheep. Low topology. Nice, and they can hop. That'll be a good challenge to animate as well. These little guys just make bunnies hop, much like with the frog as well. I'm thinking also $4.99. Look at that. That is cool. From the makers of sheep come frogs. Can you imagine animating 1,000 of them procedurally? That is cool. That is going in my cart. This one and also that one. Good stuff. Thank you for the tip. Thank you for the tip. So we've got him. Are we happy with that rotation? Yeah, I don't think I am. Hello? Why can't I move my viewport anymore? Interesting. Does the moving doesn't work anymore? Okay. Oh, there we go. That's something's good. That's not good here. Yeah. I say stop. I say stop. I want to speak to the star of the show here. That's him. Ocean Grazer Sheep. That's him. Him here. Perfect. Okay, so with lit preview, see what we see. You eat. You eat. Then you think you turn around, you move over here. Yeah, I think that before he turns into his long path over here, I think the rotation isn't quite right. Let's just go and correct that. Just is where he's looking. This I think is okay because he's just walking towards that. This here, that needs to be corrected then. So on... Oh yeah, I see when he does this. He just needs to look at that where he's going, basically here already. Yeah, and then we can probably go and remove that. No, not that. Basically both of those. Or just not set keyframes on the transformation and just make it on the rotation. That's the better solution. I think maybe we can just go and get rid of this. Yeah, like here, I think I might just go and set a rotation keyframe here. And just make him look slightly further over there. Rotation there. So just looking where he's going. And then that's almost okay. Take that away here, see how that goes. It's better. It's not fantastic, but it's, you know, it's better. I think I can live with that. Finds a spot, the end. Let's call that good, and let's go and save this here. Version control commit. Animated ocean grazer sheep. And then we'll see how we can cue this from the master sequence. And then I'm planning to just put the animations into the right places for the other sheep so that we can preview the animation as we scroll through, because I'm relying on them to just play automatically, which is probably not the best idea. So, perfect. I'm thinking that frog might well feature in this other animation where we're moving towards the statue. That might be good. So in here, yeah, ocean grazer, we're going to go and take this away. So I'm animating a few sheep here and my camera. And I should perhaps not do that. I'm thinking. So how do I do that then? If I go and add another sequence to this, which will then animate him. I think last I heard, I do that with a shot track, I think. And in the shot track, I'm going to go and grab my ocean grazer sheep, I think. Yes, and that works. Is that amazing or what? So now this here is essentially the whole animation that we've set up on him. So that's very nice. That is very nice. So I might do that for the other sheep as well then, so that I don't deal with all those keyframes in this master animation. I'm just going to go and animate the ones that are currently not animated. Like he wasn't even planned here, but I'm thinking of leaving him in here, so I might just go and animate him as well with an eat to idle animation compilation, and I'll just have one level sequence that just goes and animates all these other supporting actors basically. Let's do that, and then we can fine-tune the keyframes literally for every frame of the animation. I think I want to do that. Let's do that. So in Unreal Engine 5, this has a separate menu, the cinematics menu. We don't have that in 4 yet. So the level sequence is hiding there. It's just tidied this up a little bit, which is quite nice. So I'll call this supporting actors. That's nice. Supporting actors. And we might as well start with this guy here. It'll be 2,400 frames, the whole thing. And so this guy, let's track him. Test sheep, yeah, okay, we can live with him. He's the test sheep. And in his animation, I'm going to use the animation sequence here, should I use the looking over the ocean here, or should I maybe start with another one? Let me go start with idle 3. And then I can go and... He doesn't have a starting position. I'm thinking... Let's just give him that over here. Does he blink? I'm always thinking they blink, but it's just the light effect in their eyes, I think. I think so too, Meg. I think so too. And it'll be like for the holding loop here for my animations, or for my 3D Shenanigans sessions. So let's do this. And then he's doing this. That's his one idle animation. And then I'm going to go over to the ocean grazing one. Oop, not here, here. Overlooking the ocean. Because as long as these are not in sync here, which I'm hoping they're not, we'll be okay. So he's just going to do this, and then eventually, just every so often, he's going to go use idle 3 here, and then I'll just build that out on here, idle 3. Oh, we've just done idle 3 here, so maybe we'll go back to eating first, or maybe idle 2 then. If idle 3 is this scratching behind his neck here, maybe we'll go with idle 2. Thinking about it. I could even just have him turn around. We don't really get to see him, so I just want him to animate. That's really all. And then I'll go back to the ocean. There, perfect. So that is, whoops. That's just him eating and looking. Perfect. So that's one sheet done. Then this guy, I think none of these guys are actually animated, are they? I think he is with the master sequence, but I don't think he is. It'd be good to see these guys together. So I might do this on the master sequence just because that's where I have him. And this guy, these two... he is kind of right of house. Let's track him as right of house. Actor to sequencer, that's the one. And I'll just go rename him right sheep right of house. And he will just go and have this ocean animation here, that, eat, look. Ad infinitum. Ah, but that doesn't quite blend in with one another. So had I been clever, I would have done this in that I could have just made it loopable, and I guess I didn't do that. So I'll just duplicate it. And no one's gonna notice. Perfect. It's 2 sheep. Then we have these two sheep here, this guy. Julia said it might be fun to have him kick the sign at the moment the camera comes round. Sacred Sage, how's it going? I thought he blinked, but I think it's just the light. I think that's all it is. How's my favorite night manager? How's it going there for you, buddy? We'll do the same here, but we'll start this animation sequence or this compilation a little bit later so that they're not in sync and no one's going to be able to tell. At least that's what I keep telling myself. We're going to call him, track him first, and he's going to be the one behind the house. Sheep behind house. I'll call him. Oh yeah, does this happen to you as well, Meg? That you can't open up menus anymore? Because this happens to me in Unreal Engine 4. This is now basically after 1 hour we have to put another quarter in the slot machine for it to work. And this isn't even 5, you know, this is 4 and it's still buggy. I think sometimes what happens is Epic go and develop things and they go, oh yeah, it's a bug that we need to fix. Oh, but here's a cool new feature, let's put that in first, you know. And then they release that and that has a bug and then the old bug is still there. Oh yeah, we're gonna fix that. Really? Are you gonna wait until epilepsy warning? Are you gonna wait until Unreal Engine 6 for that to get fixed? Oh yeah, now it's too late to fix it. Let's just rewrite everything. Oh god. Oucharoo. Dang. Well, every hour we just put a new quarter in the machine. I think it's a subtle warning for us to step away from the computer for 5 minutes and then come back with fresh eyes. That's what I think. That's what I think. Sheep behind house, where were we? Yes, I said animation and I'll go with this again. And so I'll just go and come in a bit later here. And I'm hoping, you know, that's good. So he's just going to do this all the time. Blend in, duplicate with transition. Until the end of time. Perfect. That's him. Now this guy, let's see how we can do that. I'm thinking we can, let's see when the camera actually comes, what frame that is, because I can maybe have him eat grass up until that point and then turn around and just kick the sign a couple of times and then just keep eating grass. I'm thinking that might be nice. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, you've never used the level sequencer. Yeah, that makes sense because you're not making cinematics, you're making an actual game. So yeah, that makes sense. Whereas I'm the other way around. I'm not really into the game logic of things. I'm more into like using this as a cinematic rendering engine. We're going to call you Sign Kicker in a moment. Sheep Sign Kicker. Without the E. I like it. Sheep Sign Kicker. Also, what happened to the landscape here? Nothing to worry about. It's good. It's good stuff. So we're coming back to you. Let's just see where that frame is. So we don't see that. This guy, he's not. I could actually, while I'm here, I might as well, inside the shots track, I could just go and cue the supporting actors as well. Is that possible? Can I do 2 shots here at the same time? Does that work? Yes. They're both working. So now this other guy should also animate, but it looks like he doesn't do that. Why not, buddy? I've kind of expected him to animate as well. And that's a bit too advanced, Jay. You can cue one shot from another shot, but not two shots from another shot. Yeah, look, he doesn't really do that. He walks away. This guy is now, this is supporting actors here. Oh, that's interesting. Why does that not work then? Well, we'll investigate that. Let's just assume it'll work at one point. And we'll just worry about the... When do we see that? So here, that's actually perfect. He goes and runs over here. We don't even get to see him do his thing with the other flower here. We could correct that, I guess, but I think if we do this, and now he goes and turns around, like say 1200, he goes and turns around, kicks the sign, and then he's out of vision again. So let's do that, 1200. Or maybe even, yeah, I think 1200. Up until 1100 you keep eating, 1200 you kick the sign a few times, and then you go back to eating. Let's do that. Meg, thanks for dropping by. Have fun with dinner. Say hello to your husband. Oh, did you? Very complicated, huh? I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. Just like what I'm finding Unreal Engine to be. Very complicated. Supporting actors. Maybe it's because it hadn't saved. That could be. Okay, so 1200. So you are the guy we want to track. But first of all, obviously, get a grip. I think maybe with the music, I think they've kind of lost it now. Let's go and put this on again. Ah, much better. I do actually think him turning around and then kicking the sign might be cool, even though that's more work. So let's try it out. Oop, that is an accidental duplicate that I've made there. I'm glad you figured it out, Sage. What was the secret, if you don't mind me asking? Sage was trying to do a video, render out a video from Premiere with an alpha channel, and then turn that into a WebP. And that is, of course, Adobe are thinking, WebP? We're not gonna support that. Use ProRes. Yeah, ProRes is like 60 gig a second. That's maybe a little bit too much. And yeah, that's just one of those things. Okay, so let's see. This is a good position. Track you. Sign kicker. Transform starts here, and you can probably also just eat. Maybe we'll just go eat, I think. Eat, perfect. Oop, what happened here? Why is that not in the animation track? Let me undo that. I thought it would be here. There we go. That's I was wrong here. Eat. Mobile sheep eat. There we go. That's what you're going to be doing until frame 1200 or thereabouts. Like, let's say here, and then you'll idle, and then you quickly turn around. That's the plan. And we'll use idle 1. That's perfect. So after a long bout of eating, you're thinking, what the? And then with this, I might go and have you then transition into a jump first. And during the jump he can turn and then he kicks, I'm thinking. Like this, so eat, transition, jump. This is while you turn, and then you go and start kicking. I think this is going to be great. Kick, no, that's not it. Attack, it's called. Oh, you can do that. You don't have to do. You can ram it with this forehead. Let's do that, and he doesn't have to actually turn. That's even better. And maybe we'll go and do this twice or 3 times. Three times perhaps, because that's cute. And then perhaps you're going back to idle. Perfect. Jump, kick the sign, go back to idle, go back to eating. As if he's waiting for some magical reaction or whatnot. Perfect. Oh, yes, I see. Oh, that's a clever idea. So you don't actually have an alpha channel, you have a static alpha channel. Is that how you do it? That could be clever. Of that one change. Ouch. Well, that's the exciting life of a game dev, huh? So you keyframe that mod. That's clever. That's clever, man. Not that we'll see all of this, but why not? Drag it out until the end. Okay, so then let's see if we can get this into the right positions here. So hey, Sacred Sage, Brian has downloaded Unreal Engine 5 today. I'm excited what Brian's going to come up with, especially with this character creator iClone into Unreal Engine thing. I mean, I know it's yet another app to learn, but it's just so powerful. It's so powerful. I hope you're going to have a lot of fun with that, Brian. So I'm going to put another keyframe here, which is the same position so that doesn't change. So then from here, he gets up. Oh, actually, this is where that needs to be. That keyframe here. And then he goes and... Whoop. It's the wrong track. This here is where his second keyframe needs to be, and then from here he can go and move actually from here and go and move over to the sign that he then goes and rams. So we don't want him to be further in than that. And height, I don't really know. I think rotation could also do with a tweak. Jumps and bangs the sign. And then goes back to eating. I like it. Oh, what's happening here? We haven't got a beginning animation for him. Poor little guy. What happened to that? I thought we're going to have him eat here. There. And now, of course, we need to animate the sign so that the sign wobbles every time he does that. Or maybe falls over as well. Man. I think Unreal Engine works good in kind of 2-hour slots followed by a long break. I think if you ever at a point where you have to use it 8 hours a day, you have to, that's going to be, you know, that's something else. So yeah, we could literally animate the sign now. Like for it to shatter or to move, something like that. That would be ideal. See if we can do it. So first of all, I'm thinking still a little bit dug into the ground. So track 3ds logo, check. Put transform. I don't know how to do shaking effect, but maybe I can just go and have it. Let me think about that. I'll put it into the track for now, but let the sheep be our focus for now. If we animated you here, sheep behind lighthouse. No, we haven't, have we? Let's animate you. You're going to be the sheep behind lighthouse. Rotating it from the pivot point, if it's at the bottom, should work. Yeah, that should work. I'm just thinking the actual shake effect. How do I do that that without too many keyframes? Is there an easy way to put something like a noise modifier for half a second? I'm thinking. Like in Blender, we have that. I could actually use Blender for that. I could set it up as an animation in Blender with a noise modifier and just have that for half a second, and that could be the animation for that sign. That might be good. If only I could remember how to do noise modifier things, huh? Good thing I've made a video about that. I should rewatch it. This is sometimes really good. I watch my own videos to say, oh yes, I remember that. I remember how to do this now. You do that, and then you can have just eat, maybe. Eat fast idle. Eat fast idle. That's also good. We've got that in Blender, so we'll just have this. Did I loop it? Is it loopable? It is, isn't it? Yes, it's loopable. Good stuff. Variation. All right. Okay, that's you animated. Who else? You, I'm going to do in the master sequence here. Anon, you are already in the master sequence. And you are... Who are you again? Did we animate you here? Yes, you're also doing that. That's perfect. How about the two guys in the front? There, one of them is on the master sequence. This guy here. This guy, I don't think he is. Is he? I don't think he is. Or is he? Let's see. I can't remember. Front black sheep looks up. Maybe I'm going to go and not track him on this. Right, also the 3D Shenanigans logo is actually tracked here on this timeline already. I'm just going to go and track him from the front here. He needs to eat and then look up at about frame 60. Okay, good stuff. Supporting actors, here they are. So that's an interesting one. Can I track an object twice? Your own biggest fan. But that's, you know, that's the reason why videos are just so important, that you go, hey, the future audience of this thing is really only me. If other people like it as well, awesome. But, you know, I do this so that I can remember. That's a good way of looking at it. Select him and then actor to sequencer random sheep. So he is actually not so much random. It's going to be here black sheep front, and he is going to eat, of course, like all good sheep are. Eats, and then at frame 60 he looks up. So we're going to put idle here. Idle, maybe, is it 1? I think so, idle 1. Ding. Perfect. Looks up, thinks what's going on. Maybe it's actually a bit long here, so the transition, make that shorter, put that in here. Eats, looks up. That's a bit too fast, isn't it? Yeah, it's still a bit fast. Yeah, that's nice. Perfect. And now you could just keep eating if you like, because I don't think we'll see you again. Not in vision, that is. All right. And then this guy's in the master sequence. So let's see if we can figure out this puzzle then. How, and if so, why we can't, why the second sequence shot track isn't running together with the first one. And I think then we might call it a day. Yeah, because he's working, but he isn't working. And they're both definitely running here. Curious. And that's this one, but not this one. And none of the other guys are working as a result either. No. Huh. So since it's easy to bring back, if I go and take these guys out and then take the supporting actors track first and put that in here, then all of that works. But of course the other track isn't working anymore. Like, you know, this guy here, he's not cued. I mean, since they're all full animations, Union Strike, that could be. I could kick it off on event begin play. I could do that, or from another blueprint, or from the level blueprint, but that's overkill. There's got to be a way to just queue two of these things at the same time. So I can't add another shots track. There's only one shot track in here. I can track, I should be able to track another shot though, shouldn't I? This was Ocean Grazer Sheep, but it's not having it. I wonder, why is that then? So this doesn't work, but maybe instead of queuing it inside the can I queue it inside here? I mean, what happens if I go and grab the supporting actors track and then just make a shot track in that and basically go one level deeper? Like, you know, if I go in here and then in here I could have a shots track. Oops, yes, shot track, like so. In which, ridiculously, I could go and say the Ocean Grazer is now part of this. Yeah, that works. Perfect. So don't ask me why. This makes zero sense. So if I then go and go into here, since I'm using my supporting actors track, it's no, see, this doesn't make any sense. Because that's in here, in supporting actors, it does both. So why? That doesn't make any sense. Please tell me why. Is it just one of those things where we just restart Unreal Engine and it works? Or when we render it out and it just all magically kind of works? So these are things where Unreal Engine just falls down, doesn't it? Some things are so easy and logical, like the most complicated things are incredibly easy and have a really elegant solution. And then you think, well, then easy things, should they also not have an easy solution? No, they're then a total nightmare. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. Logic then fails, doesn't it? And it doesn't have anything to do with the camera thing here, right? Because I don't have to have a camera in one of these things. Could it be that we need a master sequence for this? That could be. That could be that we so there's this thing that I never understood in Unreal Engine, and I think it might be, so there's a template sequence and a level sequence, but there's also something called a master sequence. There's also a camera animation sequence. Template sequence specifically designed for playing on cameras. We don't need that. Level sequence, movie scene animation for actors. That's kind of what we want. And then there's a template sequence. But there's also, I don't know where that is in Unreal Engine 4 here. There we go. Add master sequence. Create a new master sequence and place an instance of it in this level. Yeah. Let's try that. I mean, maybe that's the solution to the puzzle, that only a master sequence can govern multiple tracks that are not shots in that respect. That could be. Okay. Well, so far I've figured out that a master sequence has no benefits to a regular level sequence, so I don't really understand what that is. So the concept is that you ideally you have one actor and you have one level sequence and keyframe this one actor, then you do the same to another actor, so you have two actors doing things like doors, sheep, you know, whatever, each of which has a level sequence, and then you bring those two things together inside a master sequence. And then the benefit is you can open the doors. You don't have to open them, you don't have to animate them like 1200 frames, and you want to go in like, you know, at frame 1000 you want them to open. You can just animate them over 20 frames and then grab that little sequence and cue that from the master sequence if and when you need it. But, you know, does not make sense. Right. Well, let me see what happens if I go and add a master sequence. And oh, it has like scary things here. So name, I'll say MC whatever, because I can totally remember what that is. Whatever master, I like it. Number of shots, 5. I don't know, really? Yes, I don't know, is it? Default duration, but what do I know? I'm, you know, just do whatever, and then we'll tweak it if and when we need it. So now we've got shots in here. Make that 2400. And this is now what? These are 5, well, those are camera shots, aren't they? So I don't need any of those, literally, because I'm gonna go bring my own thing, which is the JCam. Or is it SQ Cam J? So this is my actual camera sequence here. Oh, look at that! And now they all work. That's exciting. Does my camera still work as well? Oh yeah, look at that. So this only works in a master sequence. How interesting. Why though? And then he goes and kicks the sign. And we're thinking, oh my God, what are you doing, buddy? So that works that way then, does it? That's exciting. I'm thinking maybe he should start with that a little bit earlier, actually. Now that I see this. These guys really are the stars of the show, aren't they? He's eating. This is good. This is good. Look at that. So that's what a master sequence does. Could also be that it's different in Unreal Engine 5. So in Unreal Engine 5, I didn't have that experience. But, you know, be good to... Happy to be proven wrong. It's always good to learn something new. Hey, that's good. I think other than the shaking sign, I think we've got it. I want to just have him start doing this a little bit earlier here. So that he's already jumping at, say, frame 1350. We figured something out. Let's just fix that. Let's just fix that. And also, right? Indeed. I think so too. Another version control commit is in order before we screw things up too much. Figured out the importance of a master sequence. And added one on this occasion. Figured out the importance of a master sequence. And added one on this occasion. Boom! So 1350, start kicking the sign. Which is, of course, in another master sequence. Could I get in there somehow? I could click this. That gets me there, then I could click there, then that gets me there. Yes, that'll work. Oh, nice. It's kind of here. sine kicker. Yeah, so all I want him to do is start with this earlier. Did that work with the keyframes? No, of course not. That didn't work. That would be too easy. Easy isn't what we do around here. Difficult is the name of the game. Is that early enough? It's certainly earlier, but yeah, it'll work. It'll work. And we just see him do that in the background. And that's nice. I like it. I like it. Well, aside from the wobbly sign, I'm also a little concerned about the particle effects at the end, you know? Well, don't forget, I mean, I've been looking into Unreal Engine since 2018, 19, something like that. So it's been 4 years, and I'm now starting to understand it. So it's I wish I had picked it up quicker, and it's been quite a struggle up to this point, and I feel like there's so much more to learn. It's crazy. Unreal Engine 6, you know, I think they said in about 9 years, Unreal Engine 6 is going to be there. That's when the metaverse is fully fleshed out. Tim Sweeney reckons that's when Unreal Engine 6 is going to be the new big thing. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but that's his plan. So he's already thinking about it. So particle emitter. This is something that should be playing here, and for some reason it isn't. Let's see if I have it here. P ambient, that's it, isn't it? Ambient dust particles. I am just so happy that this is kind of working the way. Where did the master sequence go now, by the way? I know it's in the level here. Here it is, MC whatever. But where is that in the content browser? That is in MC whatever. Yeah, see, this is not where that should be. And it makes a copy of the shots. Well, the shots, we don't need the shots either, do we? So let's go get rid of those. We don't need those. Yeah, we don't really need those. As Jay breaks the whole concept here, I'm going to put that into my cinematics folder. Move here. And then sequences, we don't need that folder anymore. Yes, I want to... really? Yeah, no, it's fine. You can delete that. It's cool. There's another way to do that, but I always forget how that works. It's like, you know, references, cleaning up and whatnot. So technically, MC whatever, I open that and we see everything. Yeah, perfect. That's what I want. That's good. Good stuff. So particle emitters, they should be here. And I don't actually see them, so that's the problem. Ambient dust here, that's it. So they are definitely here, it's just I don't see them. And there's another one here, and I don't see that one either. And I've even put another one here, and that is also not something I see. That, of course, makes me very sad, and I don't quite know what to think of it. Are they actually all visible? Yes. cast shadow, we could make that. Billboard scale, could we make that bigger? I mean, just to, oh no, that's just the billboard. That's just the icon here. Auto activate, yes. Editor only, no. Post update tick group, don't know. Do we need to have a different dust particle thing? That could be. What I find is missing, Sage, is decent tutorials that teach you how to do animatics in Unreal Engine. I find that's a bit that, you know, there's all these getting started tutorials, and they tell you how to get around the viewport, but really they all tell you how to make a game. And those of us who don't want to do that, or not use like a 3D game as we know it, I don't think there's many tutorials out there. So it's like, you know, making a game type tutorials, like make a shooter game, that sort of thing, and add a UI and count points and hit an actor and that sort of thing. And then on the other end, you've got ArcVis tutorials where they tell you how to make amazing looking still images. But we can already do that in Blender and DAZ Studio. So the thing in the middle that, you know, use the animation features, the keyframe animation features, I think there's not that many good resources out there. There's one course, if you want to delve into it, by Michael Ricks. That is a good one. I can recommend that. That's on Udemy, I think. And he tells you how to make animatics with DAZ assets. So very cool. That's a cool course. I really recommend that, how he does that. And he doesn't use the DAZ to Unreal bridge, interestingly. So that's cool. And the other one is one on Game Dev TV. They're both for Unreal Engine 4, so I haven't seen anything for 5 yet, but they're both for Unreal Engine 4, and that's that's also just about cinematics. They have that on sale sometimes. So that's kind of cool. That explains the multiple camera bits and pieces that you can use. There's types of cameras that are kind of groovy. What happens if I go make the scale larger? Did we try that last time? ×5. Let me try that. And then this as well here, also ×5. Lots of dust. Maybe that's what's needed here. And I have a feeling that particle emitter probably needs to be higher then, right? There. I don't know if that's going to be too much. Could well be. I just want some more stuff in here that isn't just the sheep. Does that even work, or do we need to have 2? And I really don't know why they don't show up in any of the renders. So I can just about see this here now. Let me go and try to render out the last kind of 500 frames here. Yeah, this is the thing you have trouble with, right, Brian? The movie render queue. This video here. MC Whatever Master, that's a great title. So what I can tell you about this is you ignore this. That's just the current location of the output, but you can ignore that because you can't set it there. You got to go into unsaved config, and then you can do whatever you need to do. So I'll use, I have a preset here, but if I didn't have that, I would go and use JPEG or add a PNG or EXR sequence if I needed it here. And then if it's in here, then it would render both JPEG and PNG. But you can switch one of them off if you don't want it. So maybe I'll just use PNG. And sometimes on these things you find options as well. So I don't have it enabled in this project, but if I had, I'll just go hit accept here. So we'll come back to this. If I had enabled alpha in my project settings, then it would have to recompile compile all the shaders here. So enable alpha support if ever you needed that. It's disabled by default, but if you set that to linear color space, then you have to restart Unreal Engine. It goes and compiles 10,000 shaders. And then you could, on the PNG setting here, that'd be an option to render alpha if you needed that. Deferred rendering, this refers to the kind of the when Unreal Engine renders this picture, it actually goes and renders like 20 or so layers that then get combined. And that's what they mean by deferred rendering. I think when you go and say visualize something, there was somewhere buffer visualization. That's it. If you go to overview, these are all the individual images that are actually rendered behind the scenes, and they're then combined just before we see this. And that is what they mean by deferred rendering. So some of these get rendered earlier than others, like certain things where they reckon, well, there's not a lot of movement in there, and that's why they call it the deferred renderer, because this is actually a delayed thing that is just super efficiently like created. That's the deferred renderer. And so that's the last thing we put out. That's why most of these settings are on here. And that you can actually leave alone, because you know that we need to have it. If you don't have it, then I don't think a picture comes out. So leave that alone. On output, this is where you actually set your output. So mine's going to be on my video stripe, so I can read really fast from it. Animations, 3D Shenanigans. This is House on the Hill, and we'll call this one Feather V6. So this is the actual output directory. There it is. And then this is your frame rate. So maybe I'll use this. Should I use that? Yes. And I'll use 30 frames for now. That should work. Or I'll override it with kind of 15 frames. I'll just leave it as is. That's cool. And then I want to have the last 500 frames, so like 1900 to 2400. And that's it. I don't want to use anti-aliasing. And that's all I need for a basic render, really. Yeah, let's go do that. And then when you go and click this button, you render in this instance of Unreal Engine, but much like in DAZ Studio, it'll be blocked for rendering. But if you click this one here, then it spawns a new Unreal Engine process in the background and leaves this version responsive. So this is basically like a command line version of just go render. And this one is basically just letting us look at what we're doing. So I'll go and click that, see what happens. Huinab, thank you so much for subscribing. That is very nice of you. Thank you, buddy. Good stuff. Ignore the swing that just gets pulled in from the first frame so that it goes and has some kind of stuff here. See, we can see the particle effects. Nancy, more like a multi-layered Photoshop image. If you imagine something that has a background and multiple other things and different blending options, like imagine 12 stacks or 12 or so layers on top of one another, each of which is kind of blended in to create a single result that you look at from the top. Yes, let's do that on the next option. Yes, anti-aliasing is essentially another tab that you have to enable, and then the animation takes a bit longer to render. One is spatial and one is temporal. So I think spatial goes like this. It takes the same picture and renders it like slightly further up and down, left and right. And then temporal is it takes the same thing multiple times and then mixes those together, and you can have both of these mixed together, and each anti-aliasing option will double the render time for one frame. So if you had spatial 4, it would take 4 times longer to render this because it takes 4 samples. And if you had 4 temporal and 4 spatial, it would do 4 to the power of So like basically 4 times 4, so it'll be like 16 times longer than this. But it'll also be much better. So I can see particles now. So yeah, so for the final render, I would recommend you do that, but there's no point actually, and I've done some tests on this, to go over 8 samples. So 8 and 8 is already a lot. That'll be like 64 times longer than this, but still quick compared to iRay. But yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. Yes, I'll totally do that later, anti-aliasing. You yearn for real-time rendering. But then, if you have it, then you think, if real-time rendering works so well, maybe we can add more samples to it and it looks even better. And then eventually you have it the same duration as iRay, and then you think, hey, what's the point in that? You're very welcome, Brian. I'm sure you're going to make good use of this. It's just this getting past this wall of settings and the headaches, you know. You'll get there. You get there. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. House on the hill. Here it is. And image sequence. Sequence from clip. And this was rendered with 30 frames, wasn't it? Yeah, so that needs to be a wee bit slower to like. Okay, we want to see particle effects. So this is without anti-aliasing, and you can see little jaggies on the house and stuff like that. With anti-aliasing, that'll all disappear. There we go. So I can finally see particle effects. They don't look good anymore, but at least they're there now, you know. I had kind of hoped that they would look better, but I guess they don't. That's true. Yeah, we need to work on those. And this whole house island, I think I'd like for them to have it, but they're not supposed to look like this. That's just because I made them bigger. I also feel like if we had something like that there, we could just have a little bit more time at the end. I have a feeling we can improve on his animation here. Yeah, we need like another 5 seconds before we can blend into the next one. So, particle effects. Let's see if we can do better than that. We can do better than what we currently have. This was ambient dust, so let's go and get rid of that. See what our starter content has to offer. In particles, dust, explosions, fire, smoke, sparks. And this was it, wasn't it? Ambient dust. Oops. That's the same one we already had. The ones that didn't show up. So maybe I'll just, instead of making it larger, I'll just have more of them. That'd be good. What happens if we look at this in unlit? Do I see this better? I could also try that easy fog in the background. Yeah, it doesn't really... Oh, is it that time again? Yep, it's 1 hour. It's literally 1 hour. That's it's literally 1 hour, isn't it? And then you have to put that extra quarter in here. Oh, you've done some work. You've done a render. That's all we can give you, man. That's you have to restart now. That's not allowed. Dang. The ghost on the swing. Yes. I'm so glad that got fixed in 5. That's good. So yeah, instead of having 1 there, I might just go and duplicate them like 10 times. And that hopefully will be enough for us to go do a render. That's the last thing I want to do, and I think we've got something beautiful. House on the hill. Brian, did you pick up that that Humble Bundle pack with these assets in? I was thinking $25 is actually, that's nice. Yes, open the sequencer. Thank you. Good stuff. Ambient dust, we're going to put that into was there not a particle effects thing? No, there wasn't. Jay, you're making it up. It's not there. It's not in decals. Is it in, it's not in geometry. It's not in landscape. It's not in lighting. Is it in lighting? No, it's not lighting. It's not in trees. No, it basically just went. Move to new folder. Particle effects. P ambient dust. So I'll just put one over here. Alt left click and drag just duplicates whatever you've got selected. Works with two things as well. Alt left click and drag. So that's just more. And maybe that'll be enough. So by the time we look at look at that. Oh yes, and then I'll make this whole animation maybe longer, like 2600. $2,600 and a bit. That doesn't. I might have to go and adjust some of the other sequences now, but let's see if that works. See if we can see those a little bit better, and I'll show you. Thank you. That's awesome, Brian. That's good to hear. Yeah, so let's do the movie render queue again with anti-aliasing. At least I'll show you how that works. Sadly, I didn't save my settings. I should have just saved what I did there, but I didn't. So yeah, PNG. And you can't get rid of JPEG. You can just switch it off, but you can't remove this bit here for some bizarre reason. So this, I think this is interesting if ever you have, if you needed to make, if you want to render multiple layers out. That's where deferred rendering is interesting here. And stencil clip layers, I think you can add multiple layers. We don't have any, but if ever you need that, it's a cool feature to have. I'm sure 4 has it as well. Under window, there's layers here, so you can go and create yourself a new layer, like create an empty layer, and you could say this is maybe all the buildings, and then you can select things like, you know, these 2 buildings, and then you can go and right click and add the selected layers, or add the selected actors to this layer. And if you do that, you now have, you can just render the buildings out on this layer. And then cube, I don't even know what that is, but let's go and get another layer and say this could be the sheep. And then you pick the sheep, and then on here you can say add selected actors to this. So you have now got the combined render pass and the buildings and the sheep separately. And so the combined pass also has the sheep and the buildings, but the moment you add here under deferred rendering, if you say I want a separate buildings layer and a separate sheep's layer, you would now get 3 pictures. One with everything, one just with the sheep, and then one just with the buildings. And if you had enabled transparency, you would get an alpha channel with the PNGs as well. And that's kind of cool to combine those in the post. If ever you need that, that is also possible with this, which is interesting, isn't it? So it's kind of cool. At default layer, you have to enable that so that the combined render path comes out. With this, the combined doesn't come out. So very versatile, I gotta say. I'll remove it here because we don't need it. But yeah, cool, isn't it? Because it's just, that then opens up all kinds of post-production possibilities. You can imagine depth layers. So there's Movie Render Queue is just one plugin that you have to enable, but there's another one which is the Movie Render Queue additional render passes. And if you enable that in addition to this, then you get, I think you have to restart it, so I won't do it now. But if you do that, then here you get more things that you can add, including things like depth passes and all kinds of funky things. So it's quite impressive what they've put on here. It's very, very interesting. It is, isn't it? It's very cool. So that we leave alone. That we leave alone. That we will put into where we've been before, which was as in here, and then we're here and here and here and here. I'll just overwrite that. That's all good. Custom playback range. I think that was 1900 to 2600. So let's see what that does for all the funky. Oh yeah, anti-aliasing. If I were to add that here, anti-aliasing, then these are the counts I talked about. So 1 and 1 means it'll have one of each. I think you have to say override, and then you can pick one, but none is fine. It's just, this means it'll actually kick in. And then you can say, I think you can say no temporal. No, you have to have one of each. So this is now going to do one of each. It's not going to do much, but if you do something like 8 and 1, I might just do that. Or I'll just say 4 and 1. Wait, it wants to have something more. This is going to take a little bit more time to render, but it'll make a big difference. So it'll basically take 8 samples for each frame. So it doesn't actually take that much longer. Look at that. If you do temporal, you can actually see the picture shaking, I think, which is kind of cool. We want to see the particle effects, man. Particles. And then there's the path tracer. That's this thing, I think, when you create a new project and you say make it ray tracing enabled. I don't think I've had that here. Then where it says lit and unlit in the viewport, you can drop it down and say path tracer, and then it'll behave like iRay basically, or like cycles. So it goes, it's a different code, Epic reckon, but it'll use the same material descriptions to then use a proper path tracing engine, and it looks incredible for lights and shadows. They work incredibly nicely, but it also takes just as long as cycles and iRay, so think very carefully if you want to do it. And I think it doesn't render animations for some reason. I haven't managed to get animations path traced out of it, so there's always something else we can try out. Do I see dust? Cool beans, right? Yes, I'm thinking that too. Imagine what we can come up with this thing. Julia and I have had some really cool sessions. There is another plugin that also comes with Unreal Engine called the multi-user plugin. And with that, we can both be in the same level and then build the level together. That is super fun. I can't wait to do that again next week. And we're done again with the music. What a shame. Yes, that would be cool if we could get that working over distances as well. I'm sure there's a way to do this, but we've managed to make it work on the internal network. Oh, I see, 3D Shenanigans logo isn't animating down, so that's something we need to address. That was the moment the camera goes around, I had animated that down. Maybe it gets confused because it's now being tracked by two sequences. I don't see any dust particles, but let's see if it works in full screen with high quality. Barakas, moin moin, was geht ab? You're late for the party, no problem. I'm just doing a test render here, and I decided that the animation could linger for a little bit, because if we have dust particles, animated ocean, and animated swing, I'm wondering now if the camera at the end should just be a little bit further down so we can see more of the swing. Howdy, howdy indeed. How's this weekend been treating you, buddy? And what does next week hold in stock for you? Yeah, there we go. There's more sheep action going. So it looks like I don't need to do more to the animation. I'm just thinking this sheep here, we see his bottom. I think I want to move him just out a little bit. I think I might just go and import that again. Just because I think it has more frames now. And I also should have said feather V6 here. That's the swing. Crazy. Oh yeah, we do this in that. Then we just go and do that, and we'll see what that... Do we see... So we don't see any jagged edges anymore. It's still a little bit, but if you do more samples, then it'll be completely gone. So that's quite nice. Do we see any dust particles? I see nothing, man, nothing. That I don't understand. I don't understand. I literally see no dust. I might have to just go and check out other dust, you know. Yeah, ocean works, sheep works. So the only thing then is animate that sign down like I had it before. Make sure this sheep bottom isn't sticking up here, so just move it over. Maybe get the last camera, just put that frame down a little bit, so that we see more of the swing, because I like seeing that. Maybe then we don't have to worry about this anymore. Let's do that, let's do that. Just quickly, before we call it a day, So that isn't on this track, right? That is on the... That's also not on this. This is on this track, right? Is it? Camera? JCam, there we go. So much that you need to do, man. J's camera transforms. This is it. This is it. So if I'm just closer to the ground on this. And I can just animate the Z down here. Like this-ish. Yes, yes, yes! Is that good? What does that look like? We're just ending kind of here, that we don't have to worry about the 3D Shenanigans all that much anymore. Oh yeah, we're now at 2600, aren't we? Oh, that is 2600. I like it, I like it. So then this guy here, I think, is he tracked? No, he's not really tracked, is he? So he can be here. That'll be good. Oh no, he can't. No, was he tracked? Looks like he was tracked. Oh yes, of course, that would have been on the other. On the other sequence then, right? This guy. Camera cut goes all the way to 2600. So you were supporting actor, weren't you? Supporting actors. There we go. That's you. You're not the sign kicker. Sheep behind house. Is that you? No. Behind lighthouse. That's you. Perfect. And you have one transform, and we just want you to be here, essentially. There. And that, I think, dude, come on. Oh, you're still not far enough away. What's going on? Supporting actors. Does he have an out? No, he doesn't, does he? Sheep behind lighthouse. So this is where we want him, really. And dude, stop it, man. Why is this so difficult? So you can be here, there, like that. Transform, boom. I don't really know why you need to move. Oh, it's because, right, because of keyframe shenanigans. There's another spurious keyframe in front of it that we don't need. Right, now, let's see. Now you're in a much better position. There. I like seeing more sheep. So let me just go fix the sign that is now part of the supporting actors, isn't it? Oh no, it's here. But it isn't tracked anymore. I can probably just do that here. I'll leave it in here. Let me just go and take it out of the supporting actors group. If it's in here. No, it's not in here anymore. Good stuff. So if we wanted to do the shaking animation, I'll just do that in the oh, there it is. In the master sequence. And all I want to do now is make sure that on the first frame we have its position. transform, check, and then we keep that position going up until here. Oh, there it is. It's kind of keyframed here. I just don't know why it doesn't track it anymore. Like on here, I wanted that to just be down, and it doesn't seem to let me do that anymore. Yeah, it just doesn't do it. It just doesn't do it. I don't know why. This here, location, at that point, Z down. Oh, it doesn't work. How interesting. It ignores me here. Huh. Don't know why then. How's your new PC coming along, Deviant, by the way? That is something I've been interested in. It's been in the brew for a while. You had some parts, but it's not quite combined yet, right? Top of the morning to you, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see you. No rest for the sheepet. Absolutely. Well, maybe then I'm going to go and not track this logo here at all. I'll go and take it out of it and track it in the supporting actors shot instead. Maybe that's what the problem was, actually, that it was tracked in two places. Is it too late to undo that? Maybe I'm gonna do this in supporting actors, take it out. Now does it work again? No, it doesn't. Dang. Oh, it's because I'm not actually okay, fine. Does it work here? No. Yes, there it goes. It's trying to do it. It just doesn't do it very well. That is pretty bad, isn't it? Well, let me go and take it out here as well and just track it anew. Maybe even together with the supporting actors. Because we have the sign kicker here. Let me see if I can go and track it this way. We're nearly done here. We're nearly done here, Deviant. Okay, track sign. There. Track transform. Keep transform as it is. Do whatever with it, and then I think around here 1800, I think I'm going to keep it here, and then over the next few frames I'll just go and make it go down to here. That's all we needed it to do there, because now go back to here, go back to here. We see it, it's all good. Now 1800, we're good. Now we don't see it anymore. This is the only reason why I wanted to do it. I don't want to have it in the background. If I can only work out the issue with the particle emitters, then we're good. I might just go make them twice as big. We don't need the layers anymore here. And then I'll go render this out, because I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to do here. And then we can go and worry about the other ones. If I make all of them twice as big, it's enough particles for everyone. And there's nothing on the other side. It's a little bit annoying, isn't it? But then maybe if I go and put those here. Let's see if that works. Let's see if that works. I'm up for doing one more test render of the last few frames without anti-aliasing. So that is a bit faster. So we just switch that off and go keep rendering. And boom! What's next? Good point. So I have this one asset that's a 5.1 asset. it's a kind of a fantasy village, and in the, maybe while this is rendering, I can just about go over there. Bunny rabbits I'm thinking of doing something with. Also mobile frogs I'm doing something with. It's, let's see, this is it. Yes, this is it. There's one, this one, a modular medieval town. I think this is it. So this comes with the Humble Bundle here, and it looks quite impressive. And I think in their version here, they've done some things, they've kind of hinted at what I want to do. I think this is the asset. Let's just have a quick look at it. So it's a kind of a longish town. It comes with these birds like these guys here, so I want to experiment with that. It has a day and a night level, and I want to go and pan the camera through here and end up on the 3D Shenanigans logo back there. And in here, and this is going to be the challenge, there's going to be different colored Unreal Engine mannequins walking around with AI and behavior trees. So I want to see if I can re-implement the stuff that I had going in the park animation, where I spawned like, I don't know, 50 or 100 of these mannequins, and they each find a new spot on the nav mesh, they turn there and then they walk there. And I'll see if I can improve on that so that they can have different variations of animation, so that they don't all walk the same way, that some are strutting and some are, you know, walking differently. There's a bunch of dancing animations that I'd like to see if I can do something with that. This is what they've done there. So sometimes you can see people walking. Yes, and this is all with different effects, so I don't have any experience with Niagara effects. Let's see if that works. What's a wok? I'm not sure what you mean. A wok? Like as in the thing that you make stir fry with? I'm doing all kinds of sheep stuff, yes. Did it say this trailer was 30 seconds? This is longer than 30 seconds, isn't it? Yeah, I don't want to do the interiors, I don't think, but just the exteriors. Oh, is it 3 minutes rather than 30 seconds? So yeah, this is what I'm going to work on next. $25 gives you access to this Viking village. This is actually very huge. These are big sets. And of course, House on the Hill. This one, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep developing that. It doesn't look great. The lighting is pretty terrible. And this one is ready to rock, so I just need to render that one out. This is also interesting here. Nice one. This one's very small. Yes, that's what's next. Oh, we're done. Perfect. I don't need to do anything else in Premiere. This is all ready to rock. It's just updating the frames in there. Okay. Particles. I want to see dust, man. I don't see dust. I do see issues with rendering here with the sheep going off into the distance here. Oh, I do see dust. It's too much now, isn't it? It's too much dust. Oh, what a shame. I'm gonna have to figure out something with the dust. Just something that's floating in the air. I can see I need to make my own dust. Sell it on the Unreal Engine marketplace. Not bad, not bad. So dust or not, I think one final version control commit. And then we're calling it a day. Sheepy haze, that's something, do you know, maybe that is actually something I should experiment with here. The Easy Fog, William Faulkner, maybe that's a good idea. Aside from the dust, we're ready to rock. And I found out the importance of a master sequence today. How exciting. Never thought that would be never thought that would be something I would entertain. Boom. So we can watch the whole thing literally in real time, I think. Oh yeah, this needs to be expanded to the front, doesn't it? There. I think. There, real-time preview. I gotta say, that is nice. So sometimes I see rendering issues, and that's where these contrasty bits happen. So every sheep is moving. It's all keyframed. I'm in charge of every single bit of what the sheep are doing. He's scratching himself. That's kind of nice. He's gonna run around in a second. He's gonna turn around and go run. I thought so. Yes, there we go. That's what he's doing. That's very nice. Look at that. Very cool. And he's not happy with the signs. He's gonna go and bang it. Maybe I'll go and animate it. The sign. This is great. Everyone else is just eating, and that's all good. This is still not exactly super bright, so I might go and have a rectangle light shining onto this whole area just to brighten it up a little bit. He's walking up the path here. That is just so much fun. And then he gets freaked out as the other guy approaches, because, you know, you can't have more than enough sheep eating stuff. And that swing is just going to swing like we've seen it in the final render. Yeah, these types of issues here, that is bad. I don't know how to get rid of that. Interesting. Well, let's brighten up that area while we're here. And then I can go and render it out and worry about the dust later. Screw the dust, man. Screw the dust. I've added some point lights here to brighten this up, but I think this whole island here isn't quite bright enough. It's the shadows from the clouds, really, that are the problem. So let's add a rectangle light literally here. Turn it around. Actually make it snap. Whoops, sorry. Rectangle light. It's cheaper than a point light, by the way, programmatically, because a point light is casting rays in all directions, whereas the rectangle light is only using 2. Yeah, so this, I might actually use 2. We're not tracking that, dude. We're not tracking that. Where's the thing? Where's attenuation? That's it. Yeah, it's supposed to be subtle. 1000 might be a bit too much. Yeah, just so that there's more light in here. And I think this works well with and without. This is exactly what I wanted, because that's always, whenever the camera comes around, there's always shadows there, which is bad, and it just needs to be a little bit more friendly and bright. Let's go move that to lights. Are we seeing that here? We do, don't we? We see that on the lighthouse. I had not thought about that. It's because its attenuation is so much, man, so much. But that wouldn't be enough. Dang, brother. We'll have to live with it. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. And then we're calling it a day. This has been fun. This has been a lot of fun. And I've learned so much in the process. That's always really important. Yeah, I can't wait to not only spruce up my holding loop, but also do more of these things. It's just so much fun to do that, especially, you know, together with you. Yeah, sheep are literally the stars of the show. I love it. It's still dark, this area. I really don't know what's going on. I don't know why when the camera's here, it's just dark. I might just do it in post-production. I might just literally just expand that in color here as well. This is just, the shadows are so strong. I don't know how to minimize those. So I like the idea of having them. They're just too much, you know. And the dust, terrible. So I'll see what I can do there. No sheep got hurt, no sheep jump off the cliff, and I think that's just the main thing. Hey guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that. I'll be back next weekend, I believe, on Saturday with the DAS Plus stream. Topic still to be decided, but I think it might be something about the bridges, both the Blender and the Unreal Engine bridge. So I'm looking forward to exploring that. That'll be at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the DAS channel. If you're a DAS Plus member, you'll get an invite, and I'll be doing more 3D shenanigans, possibly on Twitch during the week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, perhaps. I'll see how I feel. I see how I can fit it in. And other than that, I'll be back here on the YouTube at 5 p.m. on Sunday, next Sunday. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you hopefully very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.